Well, Caregiver Action Network is the nation's leading nonprofit organization for those 90 million Americans across the country who are caring for an elderly loved one or a sick family member with a chronic condition or disease. So we've been around since 1992 as the National Family Caregivers Association, and we provide information and support to those family caregivers across the country free of charge. We provide any number of information sources to family caregivers. Not surprising, family caregiving is kind of like life itself, so at some point you need anything or everything. Sometimes you might need to know how to manage medications. Another time you're figuring out how to manage the financial burden. Yet another week you're worrying about your own feelings of depression or guilt about your family caregiving situation. So we provide information to family caregivers really on this whole host of issues. First of all, the nuts and bolts of caregiving, how to manage medications, how to talk to doctors and nurses, that kind of nuts and bolts stuff. But then all these other issues that come to play with family caregivers, feelings of guilt, feelings of anger, because this is a situation that frankly you didn't choose. It's not one that any of us really want. And you have all these kind of feelings, and you're not going to vent them to your family member who you're taking care of. That's kind of the wrong way to put them. So we help them deal with those issues as well. No question that as the American population ages, a lot more of us are caring for elderly loved ones with Alzheimer's, mother-in-law. But in fact, that's only about 50% of the equation. Good half of these family caregivers across the country are caring for somebody younger. On the childhood side, cases of autism have exploded exponentially, just like Alzheimer's has for senior citizens. So if you're a parent of a child with special needs, you're a family caregiver as well. Multiple sclerosis happens to hit primarily in its 30s. So you may be a married couple in your 30s, all of a sudden your wife has multiple sclerosis. This is a very different situation from what you thought when you first got married. So it's really kind of across the entire lifespan now. And because of that, people will need different help, different resources, depending on that type of situation in their family caregiving type. Well, nobody does it ahead of time. Nobody prepares and figures out I'm going to be a family caregiver at some point, so let me know what I should know now. Every one of us should do that because we'll all probably be family caregivers at some point in our lives. But in fact, people come to us really when some crisis point has happened. You got that telephone call and mom had a stroke or something like that, and now all of a sudden you're in a family caregiving situation. We also do get a lot of requests for information, actually, from people who have been family caregivers for several years. Because think about it. If you are caring for someone with a chronic condition, Alzheimer's, or a rare disease that's going to be with them for the rest of their lives, it does change over time. And you may have been a family caregiver for a year, 2, 3, 4 years now. But now the situation you're facing in year 4, year 5, year 6 is a little bit different. And you're asking for help on those types of issues that have now come to the forefront because it's been going on for so many years. So let me make this very clear to the docs, and the nurses kind of get it, but I want to make it clear for the docs. 2 things. One, the family caregiver is a vital part of that healthcare team. You really should be engaging them in the dialogue, hearing their view of the patient. The family caregiver is in the best situation of anybody to really be able to observe what's going on with the patient, to see things, to see side effects of medication. So don't underestimate the tremendous observational value of the family caregiver. The other thing I think physicians ought to know is that there is help for family caregivers. We are there as a nonprofit to help them free of charge. So send those family caregivers to us at caregiveraction.org so that we can help them out. And it gives you a place to send them for resources that will really help them a lot.